The more you matter to an avoidant, the worse they treat you. The more you matter to an avoidant, the more complicated their behavior starts to become. At first, it feels confusing because you expect closeness to create more connection, not distance. But with an avoidant, emotional intensity often triggers the exact opposite response. The deeper the bond grows, the more their internal alarm system begins to activate. It is not that they don't care, it is that caring too much feels unsafe to them. So instead of leaning in, they slowly begin to pull away to regain a sense of control. You may notice they become colder right after moments of genuine closeness and vulnerability. And that sudden shift can leave you questioning what you did wrong. But the truth is, your importance is exactly what is triggering their withdrawal. To an avoidant, dependence feels like a threat, not a comfort. So when they feel themselves getting attached, they unconsciously create distance to protect themselves. This often shows up as mixed signals, emotional unavailability, or even subtle rejection. One moment they are present and affectionate, and the next they feel distant and unreachable. And the more you try to fix it, the more they feel pressured and overwhelmed. This creates a painful cycle where your effort increases while their distance grows. You start giving more, understanding more, and tolerating more just to keep the connection alive. But in doing so, you may slowly lose your own emotional balance. Because loving an avoidant without boundaries often turns into chasing clarity that never comes. They may not even realize they are hurting you because their focus is on managing their own discomfort. And that is why it can feel like the more you matter, the less they seem to care. It is not intentional cruelty, but it still creates real emotional pain. Avoidants often associate closeness with losing independence or being controlled. So when you become important, they instinctively try to create space to feel safe again. This can look like ignoring messages, canceling plans, or emotionally shutting down. And when you react to that behavior, it reinforces their belief that closeness leads to pressure. So they withdraw even further, not realizing they are creating the very distance you fear. The tragedy is that both people are reacting to fear, but in completely opposite ways. You move closer for reassurance, while they move away for relief. And in that push and pull dynamic, the relationship becomes emotionally exhausting. The more you invest, the more unstable it starts to feel. Because your sense of security is tied to consistency, and they struggle to provide that. This is why understanding the pattern is so important for your emotional well-being. It helps you stop personalizing behavior that is rooted in their internal struggles. But understanding alone is not enough if you continue to tolerate emotional inconsistency. At some point, you have to ask yourself if this dynamic is meeting your needs. Because love should not feel like you are constantly earning someone's presence, and your value should never be measured by how much distance you can endure. The real shift happens when you stop chasing their closeness and start choosing your own peace. Because the right connection will not punish you for becoming important in someone's life. And sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is stop trying to be understood by someone who is committed to misunderstanding closeness. Because the moment you stop overextending yourself, you start seeing the truth of the connection more clearly. If your presence makes someone withdraw, your absence will reveal what they truly value. Not everyone who feels something for you is capable of showing up for you. And that realization is not rejection, it is clarity. You deserve a connection where your importance is met with consistency, not distance. Because real love does not make you feel like a burden for simply existing. And the moment you choose that standard, everything in your life begins to change.